Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now our Honorable VC has also joined. So we can definitely start now. And others will be coming. Normally they get a little delay.
So, shall we wait for a couple of minutes or shall we just start?
No, we'll start. Others will join.
All right. Okay. Okay, so shall I?
Very good afternoon to all of you.
Can you check your slides? Can you share your slides, sir?
Yes, please check your slides.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is slides changing? Just please check it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fine. So we'll start.
Yes, sir. We can
Very good
start.
afternoon to all of you who are actually joining this 47th distinguished lectures series. Today, we have also with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor P.K. Nanda. And then actually we have Madam Renu Sharma, who will be who are actually part of our team. Our team actually consists of the INAE Bhubaneswar chapter, then IMMT Bhubaneswar, IIT Bhubaneswar, and Niger Bhubaneswar, besides the IEEE Bhubaneswar chapter. So only the other day on 25th, we had the director of Niger, who is also, Niger is also one of our partners, as the distinguished speaker. And today, we'll have Mr. Sukanta Nanda, who is associated with IIT Bhubaneswar. So it is really a great opportunity to have him with us. So Mr. Nanda is currently architect and mentor at Artificial Intelligence and High Performance Computing Research Center of IIT Bhubaneswar. And he has got wide experience. Now, his topic today is going to be cyber security attacks and risk mitigation strategies on critical infrastructure. Very, very important topic. Cyber security attacks. The summary of his talk is something like this. Cyber security attacks on critical infrastructure pose significant risk, and those systems are increasingly interconnected and reliant on digital technologies. Major sectors such as energy, water, and transportation are prime targets for cyber criminals, with ransomware and distributed denial of services attack being particularly prevalent. For instance, the Colonial Pipeline incident in 2021 exemplified the severe operational disruption caused by ransomware, leading to widespread fuel shortages across East Coast of the United States. To mitigate such risks, organizations must adopt comprehensive cybersecurity strategies and include regular system updates, employees training, or phasing recognition and robust incident response plans, implementing network segmentation and intrusion decision system can enhance defense against unauthorized access and control over critical systems. Definitely, this is a very, very important topic. Now, furthermore, collaboration between government agencies and private sector is essential to establish effective protection frameworks and share best practices for safeguarding vital infrastructure against evolving cyber threats. Now, a brief bio of Sri Sukantananda is a product of IIT Kanpur and has worked extensively in large enterprises in the capacity of software architect and technical managers of applications that scale to hundreds of thousands of customers. He holds a US patent involving secure migration of user state during enterprise upgradation of operating system. He is an entrepreneur, founding and growing several startups. Currently, he works with Artificial Intelligence and High Performance Computing Research Center of IIT Bhubaneswar as an architect mentor. In his free time, he spends time and with cancer support, volunteerism in Odisha, and playing flute and staying healthy. Short biodata, but very impressive. Now, as per our normal practice, what I would like to say, Mr. Nanda, that your lecture is totally being recorded. And if you permit, then that will be also published in the form of a booklet, where actually this or your brief bio and abstract will be given, plus YouTube link will be there for the lecture. So we take actually this your permission. If you permit, we can definitely do that way. And if you do not, then obviously we cannot include. Now, hope actually it is acceptable to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no issues.
Okay, thank you.
There's no.
Now,
Go ahead.
Now I will request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to speak a few words on this whole process and what actually we are doing, and something about our university, which you may not be, aware of. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Esteemed chairman of this INAE chapter and also chairman of our advisory board, Professor Damodaracharya sir, and all the distinguished fellows and members of INAE, additional dean Professor Renu Sharma, and distinguished speaker today, Dr. Sukantananda. Welcome to our group. Welcome to this INAE lecture series, and also students and faculty members and all participants. At the outset, actually, this is the 47th lecture series, and the proactive measure, the innovative idea what Professor Damodaracharya sir has thought that it will be published in the form of a kind of booklet, a link to the lectures. And I think the lectures which have been delivered by all eminent people having wide experience and kind of mature researchers, which has actually thrown light into different areas of research. And this is in collaboration also with the thank the director of IIT Bhubaneswar and IMMT and Niger director, Niger, and also IEEE subsection, which we joined together to start such kind of the lecture series, which is a very proactive measure, and I congratulate, I also appreciate sir's effort in this regard. As regards university, we have been there since 1996, and 2007 it became university, and currently university is ranked well placed in top 25 university. This year it is 14th rank among university category, and 21st in the medical category, 26th in the engineering category, and law and dental science are 9th position in the country, and our management is 62 position in the country in our ranking. Last week actually there is a QS QS Asia ranking also was published, and we are 268 in the QS Asia ranking this year. Earlier we were 500, so this year we have jumped to 268. And QS World University we are 1200 to 1400 ranking. THE World University we are 800 to 1000 bracket, and THE Asia we are 300 to 350 bracket ranking. So we have around 17,400 students, 1,700 faculty members, 5,000 supporting staff, 400 foreign students, and we have 60 research lab, 19 research centers. Latest center we added a Center for Quantum Science and Technology in the mandate of the National Mission Quantum Mission, and we have research projects from different government agencies to the tune of 80 crores. Interdisciplinary projects, we have appointed professor practice and also adjunct professors from foreign universities we have appointed, and also we are appointing more professor practice in these different areas to bring the industry problems to the classrooms. This is in brief about our activities and extension activity. Our medical science is participating vigorously with extension activities. We have established a new medical college this year, opened it, and 150 students have been admitted in our full Lokara campus, which just started functioning from 2024. We have all 10 disciplines, 11 institutes under the ambit of this university, including medical science, dental science, all healthcare sectors like pharmaceutical science, biotechnology, bioscience, besides engineering and science, pure science. Veterinary science also we added in 2020. This is in brief about our university. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nanda, for your brief speech about our university and this thing. So now actually I'll request Mr. Sukata Nanda to make his actually presentation, and after your presentation there will be question and answer session. So you can please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Acharya, and it's for a kind introduction. And thank you, Dr. Nanda, for giving me so much of information. I didn't know much that such a big university existing within Bhubaneswar. I stayed outside of Bhubaneswar for the last 20-25 years, so it's a big piece of knowledge that yes, there are so many universities, including IIT, and your university is a big one, and they're doing so much for the people of Odisha. And good afternoon, everyone. I believe I'm audible. If you have any, yeah. So I come from the industry. I don't have that much of teaching or academic background. I worked all along in small, medium industry, and some of my experience is also related to security. Not all, small amount of it. And whatever I say are going to talk about this topic in this course, I'll try to not make it more academic or go more into detail of the technology. Rather, I'll see where the problems are and how things can be solved, more from an engineering or engineer's point of view. So let's start with that. So the topic is cyber security attacks. So look at the words. Probably it's very simple to understand, but I'll try to explain some of it. So security and attacks. Well, attack means somebody else is outside and you have got something it's trying to get from you. So you have some security, you have some way trying to secure your assets, and there are people outside who are trying to attack. When they attack, how do you respond? What do you do so that the attacks are minimum or minimized? And if it happens, what kind of strategies you have to minimize the impact, the repercussions? Every day or this thing, I mean, we hear, okay, there is some data breach. I mean, some years back, there was a Aadhaar numbers were leaked. And in US, every day we hear, okay, some bank data has been stolen and it's being sold in the dark web. That's a marketplace where all this personal information getting sold. Whoever wants to exploit that, they go and buy it, and that's how people come to know, oh, such a thing happens. Uh, so that's at a personal level happens. My Aadhaar number is taken and somebody phone number taken and somebody is trying to get into my bank. That's a personal level. However, recently, I mean, more and more such threats are happening. And when it happens to infrastructures or something which is very big and affects hundreds of thousands of people together, it really requires that there should be strategy to counter it. We are in the days of the internet in which everybody is connected to everybody. 20, 25 years back, when software was shrink wrap software, just take a piece of software and that's stand alone. Well, people getting to that software was much less. So essentially, it's like the old days when we don't know where is Delhi, where is America. So we didn't bother. Now that it's so interconnected, everybody has every information about everybody because of the internet, because of the communication infrastructure. It's easy for the attackers to come and attack. There are several motivations and all that stuff, but things are easy. Uh, People used to, like, let's say for any accounting and everything, people used to take pen and paper and do that. I mean, not that things were not running earlier, it used to. However, people are doing a lot more manual and they have been automated. The moment they are automated, then that makes ensures that nobody is watching, no human being is immediately looking at it, and somebody can get in without being noticed. Okay. So one instance, I'll go to the instances of cyber attacks that has happened in the recent past to give you the scale and magnitude of what's happening. So some of I listed. Uh, it's happening so that it's affecting, and not just one person, a few thousands getting affected. It's a common people getting affected. Very recently, there was a attack in London in which a pharmaceutical company was held hostage. Essentially, they can't open their systems unless they pay money. That's where the ransomware comes, the term ransomware comes. So they cannot do. Since they cannot do, the hospitals, they cannot do the operations. Now the blood test cannot happen. Now the doctors don't know how to do. They go do manually. It has to happen because there are certain things which has to happen, and if possible, has to happen in the old manual way. So doctors try to do it. They could communicate to the patients that, okay, oh, this cannot happen because we don't have the right kind of report which you have because system doesn't open. So look at the magnitude. East London, most of the surgery and everything was seriously affected, and this is in June of 2024. AIMS Delhi attack, 2023, is similar of nature. People cannot open and they have to go back to manual way of doing things. Luckily, fortunately, there are ways to do it manually. If that is not there, then imagine the impact. One recent one which I know of is a Starbucks attack in Starbucks. So they can't pay their employees. Look at the impact. It's not just the customers, the employees are also getting affected. So they have to do pen and paper old way and then pay them or take note of the how much expenditure happening, all the transactions. So it is such a big thing. We have come a long way from the old way of doing things. Computers are everywhere. The the people even have forgotten, like in US, you ask somebody how to do a simple math of $10.53 plus 45 cents, they can't do in their head. They are looking for a calculator. So people have even forgotten the basics. And not surprisingly, because the instruments of computations are available, system tells you how much is the total, then they don't have to do the math. So coming back to the thing, the cyber attacks are going to paralyze not just individuals, but a infrastructure which is very critical for the society. Few others, Indian case, like the power and utility attack recently happened. That's, I think, is 2021. Then the colonial pipeline, that's the agency, the company which supplies gas in the southern part of US, and again they are held hostage. Similar stuff. The methodology is okay, ransomware, you pay us money, otherwise we won't release. So unless we release, so they can't ship gas. There is no petroleum being going from place to place. So the petroleum stations, the gas stations, there's no gas. So what happens? The transportation get affected. One sector to another sectors get crippled. So it's not just one sector is getting affected. In the London case, okay, patients are there, doctors could manage with manual method. Now the transportation or the energy sector get affected. The thing which happened in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, utility some months and years back, if the whole area, whole state goes, there is no power. Look at that, it's no less than a cyclone hitting us, right? It's man-made, but the magnitude is really big. So there are so many others, I'm not going there, each of these. But there are also the bigger ones, like the countries are getting involved. It's not just so I'll come to the actors who are doing it, what their motivation later on. However, look at that, the countries are also jumping in. Iran is trying, then China is trying, and look at even this Israel and US are also involved in 2010, targeting the Iranian nuclear facilities and shutting down their control systems. So the magnitude could go from not just a small area, few people, to a large area, to a state, even to a country, and may someday it may be really big, that the whole world get affected because of this. Because it's the countries, the state actors are getting involved, it's possible. So like if they are doing the shutting down the nuclear facilities, they may be able to remotely explode nuclear material, nuclear weapons. So the thing is that the attacks are coming from outside, people who wants to secure their assets despite all their best efforts. They are not immune to it. It's still possible. Okay, so these are all the events I just said to tell you the magnitude of the thing. Now let's go and see why is critical, and what are the critical, like I probably mentioned it: energy, transportation, water supply. Water supply, let's say for Bhubaneswar is shut down because of something. It's quite possible because the instruments, the where the filtering is happening or where the metering is happening, pumps are there. If they are all automated and controlled, and somebody gets access to that, they can shut down water supply. Telecommunications. This is the most recent one. In US, there are AT&T and there is T-Mobile, and there are a couple of other telecom companies. As late as 2 weeks back, the attackers have got into those telecommunication companies. Their goal is little different this time, not to shut down the telecommunication. You can't make a call. However, their goal is to gather information, find out something which is of interest to them. Basically, who are the Chinese spies? I mean, that was one of the things they were trying to find out, which US government is trying to. I worked in AT&T for several years. I know they are recording each and every call. Who is doing? They have got all the security mechanism. Despite that, the state level actors are getting into and trying to find out which are the spies who have been exposed by the government, who is being monitored. Because of such a thing, I was recently in Peru, President Biden and President Xi, they had a discussion how they can stop looking at each other, how they can say that the state actors do not take that level of attack, and how they can prevent it. I mean, at a political level. So they are talking, however, it exists and is happening. There are social, economic, and security implications. I talked about all that stuff. There are disruptions. We just saw it. Okay, so it is for the basic software engineers. It's the people who are building systems, how they can secure it, how they can make sure it's minimized. It's not possible to completely stop it, because there are bad people outside and bad actors outside. They have different motivations could go from finance to political to even just defamation. There could be several other motivations, right? Somebody trying to make money, extract money, and so many things possible. The bad actors are not going to go out. It will be there. The whole goal is that how do we minimize it? Okay. In Odia, there is a thing called say dale dale gale ye patre patre jauchanti. That's the kind of approach the bad actors, the hackers, the people who are trying to make security attacks, they are going. They are also as intelligent. They are also having same level of or even better level of intelligence with them, because their goal is very clear. If there is a lot of money available by stealing somebody's social security number, Aadhaar number, and they sell it in the back end, sorry, dark web, they will do. State actors, if they can find out what's your plan, like in the geopolitical arena, are you planning to attack somebody? Like whatever you may be knowing, recently happening in US and new president coming. What are they planning? If they can figure it out, they might prevent. They can disrupt that plan, right? So the implications are really big. So let's go to the next slide. I said because of the internet, the threat is big. When 20 years back, like I was part of the Windows NT those days, or some of the other software, Microsoft software, the concept was it, look at the threat surface. So where the attack could come. Well, just because we have internet, that doesn't mean everybody can attack. Everybody has some chance of attacking. You might have heard a teenager, a high school guy who knows Python programming can easily try to target a website to at least make it crawl. What does that mean? This means that he will keep on attacking the same site, saying that, okay, download data, download data, download data. So if the website is providing data and provides a lot of data, then what happens? Others don't get access. You may try to log in and you won't be able to log in. So a small guy can also bring down some websites, bring down some data. The harm is not as much, but certainly preventing others, right? So that is the threat landscape, the surface of threat. We used to do something called a surface modeling. And surface modeling is saying that find out where the threat could come. I mean, wherever the interface is there with the software, with the application, interface with the external world, that is the area of the threat. Possible somebody can get in, and when he gets in, what he does is secondary. First of all, how do you figure out what is your threat area, what the threat surface, right? That has really expanded because of all the tools which are available, internet, ease of access, speed of computers. So I'll give an example, and I'm not just strictly following all the stuff, I'm telling something because of experience. 20 years back, people used to do uh, password attack by password cracking. Okay, you have got 8-bit password, 8-character password, or 10-character password. If you look at it, in each position, how many possibilities are there? Letters and these things, so 26 possibilities are there. Uppercase, lowercase, if you take 52 plus 10, 62 possibilities are there. Okay, I can have a uppercase, lowercase, or this thing. 8 characters, so that means 62 to the power 8. That many. Doing such a thing used to take me 10 days, 20 days, right? 20 days. Nowadays, the computer, the speed is so much, they can do it in very quickly. I mean, probably few seconds they can get to and break your password. All that they are trying to say, your user ID, they figure out and they give a password, change it, 1 bit, change it, right? So they finally, one of the options, because the 62 to the power 8, so many options, one of the options will work, right? This is the brute force method of password cracking. And people used to do that 20 years back. Nowadays, they don't do that. But there are different ways. Nobody going to give a very random password. People will put something like, okay, your date of birth, your something 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean that kind of stuff. So they know what are the possible ones to start with, where to start. So they go for a password this thing. But because of the speed of the computer today, they can go and in the cloud they can have hundreds of computers work together. So if it was taking or will take 2 days, 100 computer, 2 days divided by 100. If they can deploy 1,000 computers, the speed is less. Sorry, the time is less, so they can crack. So sophistication has gone up. The speed of computer, the facilities are also enabling how somebody can make the threat surface is the entire surface where the people are taking or interacting. How does the typical software model of doing things is that there is a client, there is a server. So client and server communicate. So the communication channel is the one in which cyber attack can happen, right? Somebody is saying google.com, okay? Actually, you are making a call to google.com, making a call. Your browser is making a call to google.com. So when you are calling google.com, the communication is happening. If communication is not secured, it's possible somebody may get in and get into Google and find out what Google is storing inside, right? So communication is the one. Wherever the
Sir, you got muted. No audio. No audio. No audio.
So Mr. Nanda, please unmute. Hello.
Sir, you should go back 2 slides.
okay, sorry, there's a mics. I don't know how how it got
Okay.
muted. Let me share again.
Please go
Sorry.
back 2 slides.
Share. All right. So okay, now I'm audible, I guess, right? So
Yes, you are audible.
Speed through. So basically,
Go back 2 slides.
or 2 more slides. Yeah, this one or this one.
Yeah, okay.
This one.
No, your slide is not visible.
No.
There, first share it.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, one second. Share content. All right. So now it's visible.
Yes, go forward.
Okay. Okay, here. So I was talking about the threat landscape. So if you have a if you have a water management system,
Make
water
it actually
management
full screen. Yeah.
Now it's full screen. No.
Yes.
Oh. If it is full screen, why don't I see it?
Nothing is. Now it's all right.
All right. Now it's full screen. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So what are the motivations of those people? I mean, I said there is the growing threat landscape. The attack surface is now becoming bigger and bigger. What are the motivations of the cyber attackers? Is it like there are state actors, there are hackers, and there are criminals? Okay, and there are also one category of people called company insiders. They also try to do attack. Somebody is disgruntled. It has happened in many companies, including Google. Somebody is really not happy with the company. He got not fired, but he didn't get a promotion or something like that. He goes and leaks out information, makes the door open so somebody can get seen, right? That kind of stuff. He may steal information because he's insider. Okay, if he's the admin, he can do a lot more damage. He can delete things, right? So there are different kind of people who have a different intention why they attack the system. The goal, financial gain. Obviously, everybody is looking to make money here. Political agendas, the state actors, espionage against state actors, sabotage. Again, it could be the criminals who are doing it, or it could be the state actors. So they have different motivations, but as I said, the bad guys do exist and will never get eliminated so long as the human race is there. Just that how it can be minimized. That's where the whole goal of cyber security. Type of things like, have you heard of the word malware? It's basically malicious software. In old days, there used to be virus, right? Windows, the famous Windows virus. Every other day, some virus. If you take your USB thing from one laptop to another laptop, it just goes, and then this. That thing has gone down significantly, but still it's not completely eliminated. Same principle exists in different forms. So ransomware is something similar. It is some software which goes and stays, and it just locks your system so that people cannot do it. The phishing is another type of cyber attack in which they give you something, some email or some link or something which is you believe or trust. So it's basically they send you an image. Okay, download it. The moment you download, okay, something gets installed. It's basically the propagation of the malicious software. How does it happen? There is a thing called a social engineering. I mean, phishing, social engineering, they are nearly similar concepts. They make you believe that whatever has come, let's say email comes from your friend. His email has been hacked, but it comes from your friend. You'll believe, okay, because it has come from your friend. You'll open it up. The moment you open, they have an attachment, and attachment could be Android stuff. It could be some, based on the what platform you are in, it tries to install. Okay, so that's a phishing attack. I mean, so you won't have suspicion. You'll install it. So you'll do the work of the attacker by they just giving it to you. DDoS is another kind of attack. I told you the teenager who wants to deny the service, denial of service. DOS is called denial of service. So essentially, he's just from his computer making a call to a particular website, and that website goes down because it cannot handle, because it's writing in a loop for or until it is there, while always, while perpetual, make a call and get download something, make a call, download something. That's it. That fills the queue of the service provider. That's a denial of service. Others cannot log in. Even in fact, there has been situation in which the administrator who wants to log in and do something like maintain or try to prevent, he cannot log in. If he cannot log in, nobody can until the there is a DDoS which is distributed. So not from one laptop. I coordinate. I can run the same program at 20 different places in the cloud. Okay, it's called distributed DOS. Similarly, there are some advanced persistent threats where the thing is they'll install some threat in your system. It just lies dormant for some time, so you don't know what it is. You think probably the water is calm, but under the hood it starts working, maybe replicating like a virus, maybe trying to send information without you knowing it. Because let's say for 20 days it says no action, so you believe, oh, everything is fine, and then they start sending all your contacts and everything. So how does software do? Software is after all written by humans. You just write a particular program and program does the work. This is thus just these criminals who write this kind of software. Hackers, they are say, and there are hackers who are also good hackers. I mean, there are two categories of hackers. One is called the black hat hackers, and there are white hat hackers. Why black hat guys are the criminals? They try to steal your information. There are people whose business is security. They also try to hack systems, but they inform. So for companies like Microsoft, a lot of companies are there who inform Microsoft, look, here is a vulnerability. Here is the one where somebody may get in, and they, because it's simply not possible for a company to plug all the vulnerability. When it goes to the field, when it's really deployed, there are myriads of combinations of situations which is not tested, cannot be tested. Okay, virtually it's so difficult to test because you cannot simulate everything. Like the window which was prepared to 20 years back, it has got a driver and driver is not updated. So even if your window 11, window 12 goes there, they cannot test it properly. So what happens? Somebody may exploit it. And these white hat hackers, they are the people who look at it, where the problem could be and inform, and then the companies prepare some, they call it a patch. The patch is deployed to the place and then it plugs the problem. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay, so we saw so far what we have seen, the kind and the scale of the hacking, the type of hacking, the people and their motivations of the hacking. Okay, now let's look at it in the critical infrastructure space. Individual space, okay, my bank account, somebody hacks. You get a WhatsApp message, click on it, and somebody says that, okay, your money is stolen. Individual getting affected. My Aadhaar number is being sold in the dark web. Somebody is trying to use it for some purpose, but again, the effects are limited. But when the big industrial systems are really affected, and there are reasons why they get affected, and not that the people don't know of it. I'll tell you why the attack is not minimized yet, or the attacks are not going to go away so soon, because of the operational technology which is used. For example, a power plant. Okay, there are lots of PLAs, the controllers. There is a SCADA system. I mean, what they call the supervisory control and data acquisition systems. In fact, SCADA, one Australian company, was hacked very recently. So all those systems, there is software there. I mean, they call it firmware because it's running in the chip. There is a small CPU and there's a firmware. It's doing dedicated work. It's not like a general purpose operating system and applications. It's basically something which is monitoring temperature and, let's say, reducing the fuel, or something which is doing it. It's a control loop. Like all engineering people who have done control theory, they know how little change, little perturbation is really effective to bring down the desired behavior. Okay, they change it. So those are software and associated with hardware. When people design those things, security was not the primary thing for them. It's a functional part. Okay, it should work. It should not fail. It should be robust. It should be industrial. By robust, they mean with a high temperature, it should not go. Military grade. I mean, they do all that stuff. But nobody thought about software, how to protect. They say, oh, it's isolated. It's a CPU, it's a microprocessor, and it's just working with something of a power system or maybe water flow system. So who is going to come here? I mean, one example I'll tell, how internet, think of our EVMs. I know there's a lot of controversy about EVM being hacked. It's not connected to the internet, okay? Possibility of hacking or not hacking, secondary. I won't go into that. Actually, one of my friend, he's the director of IIT Gandhinagar, I think, Gandhinagar. He's the key electrical engineer electrical electronics engineer in the EVM design. And when people always say that, oh, can it be hacked? He says it can be tampered, but knowingly what is can be tampered, but cannot be hacked because it's not connected to internet. Okay, so my point coming back to this thing, the hardware software which are designed were designed without security in mind. Okay, functionality was the primary thing. It monitors, controls all the devices, processes, all that stuff. This is operational technology. Slowly, what happens is the IT came into picture and tried to connect with it. How to manage, manipulate, take information. For example, networking. Connect all the, let's say you have got 10 power plants and you want to connect all of them so that from one master control you want to do this. Still, you can have an isolated OT environment, but IT came into picture, networking came into picture, and based on that, you have a reporting. Okay, reporting is saying that what happens on this, what is the production, what is the process flow, what is the other stuff. A lot of information processing happening. Enterprise data is there. In those companies, the enterprise data could be anything from employees to the financial this thing to actual, let's say all the transaction happens. For example, how much raw material came, going out, what is your inventory, all these things is in the IT systems. Now IT and OT, they got connected. Okay, so when their IT OT are connected, that expands the threat surface, and attackers are trying to get through mostly through IT systems into the OT and make paralyze it. Okay, so that's what the difference is. One thing is network intrusion. Okay, so is network, and by network it's not just a pure wire. I mean, these days wireless and all kind of satellite network, all kind of network is there. And on the network, data is flowing, all information is flowing. There is securing the information by encrypting. However, there are many old networks, and old networks get connected. For example, all the OT system, operation technology, they had their own networks built also in old days, and they are not yet upgraded. Okay, so they didn't securely send it. They just say, oh, it's going from one inside to another, one inside plant to another plant, so maybe hackers will not be there. No, that is the one which will opening up the vulnerability, and hackers can get in there. There are several ways the hackers get into network, find out that first of all it's not encrypted. So if it is not encrypted, they can take the information and then do something with it. There's a man in the middle attack. Do I have that? I don't have. So man in the middle attack, which is saying that information is going from point A to point B. I am the in-between person who can take it and change the information and send it to you. Okay, point B. Okay, and point B will react based on what information I provide. You might have heard of the phone spoofing. So IP spoofing, in which you think IP is coming from a known IP, it's coming from a spoofed IP, which is a impersonated or some other mechanism. All these spam calls which are coming, they seem like a proper phone number, but it's coming from a system which spoofs your IP, phone number, everything possible. Emails, you see your junk email. How does it come? It gives something which is very known. You can trust. It's coming from, let's say, your employer. Okay, so you'll trust it. But it's the title, the from part, the text of the from. They can write ABCD there too. It's possible because it's going, while it's going, they can do that. The hackers, they create the from field, and they put it something very reasonable, trustworthy. When it comes to you, you'll open it, right? So the vulnerability do exist. Man in the middle attack do exist because of the networks, old, new exist, and people haven't cared to plug those things. Modern networks, they are pretty much, I mean, employed all the known secure this thing. But network is not just a wire going. Companies like Cisco, who are the network specialists, companies like Chinese Huawei, companies AT&T, these companies build network, and which is routing a lot of information. Information goes and routed to this thing, IP packets going. So when the IP packet is going, they can change the header if they can, right? So if it's not properly secured, not encrypted properly, that's where the problem will happen. So my experience of doing that was with a Windows operating system. When the upgrade, I'll tell that how the network and all that stuff makes the thing vulnerable. So I was working one of the projects, one of the products in which somebody is like Microsoft releases operating system every few years. Windows NT, XP, you have seen all that stuff, and final 10, 11, all that stuff. So when a company like Boeing is there, it has got 500,000 sticks of Windows laptop, desktops, right? How do they upgrade it? One by one, they can't do it. So automated system has to do. When the automated system has to do from old to new, what happens? You have got a lot of your own personal stuff there. You might have a screensaver, you might have a screen of this color, you might have a lot of documents in that. If I go and overwrite all the stuff you have, it's a big problem, right? So how does Microsoft enable the operating system, one operating system, to higher version of operating system seamlessly? 300,000, 500,000. General Motors, those are two biggest customers. One time they did it, such kind of things. So when it happens, all your stuff including your documents. It's not just a file. Everything about you, your let's say the configuration parameters you have, the networking parameters you have, those are called user state. Apart from the plain bare operating system, there are a lot of information which is personally yours. My box won't have whatever you have. So how do I securely take it to a network, store it over there, and wipe off your desktop, then bring it back, then put the new operating system and bring it back seamlessly. So tomorrow morning when you come, everything is upgraded. You don't have to worry. Those are the kind of things in which the security was one of the key things in which I watched my team work. Because things have to be. I'll give an example why it's so important. Oh, it's my box, my few files going somewhere, somebody getting to see, no issues. But let's say Bill Gates, his files, he's also having a CEO of a company, his files, his documents, what are his plans, what is the 3-year plans? If the competitor gets a chance to see it, and that's where the competitors are also trying to snoop and get the information. If they get that information, or a cyber criminal gets that information while it is going, they sell it, they have a lots of money, right? So how do you securely do that, right? So that's where the importance of network communication, network data transfer, all need to be secure. If you have mix of networks, old network, new network having a different versions of the software, Cisco router version 10, sorry, I'll just take a time, 5:30. Okay, I have time. I probably have 5 more slides. So the network has to be secure. If it is not secure, some data will possible to be leaked, and that's a problem. They say the link is as strong as the weakest chain. Okay, or maybe the other way. Basically, if something is a whole is secure enough, as secure as the weakest point, weakest patch, weakest this thing, right? So if you have a lot of very secure parts in your system, but one area is not there, whole thing is not that secure, right? Somebody will try to get in there. One example, one of the products I was working in Microsoft, that's year in 2007. And these days, nobody does such stupid things. It was deployed to probably, again, enterprise scale. So maybe at least few 100,000 people, companies, different companies. Their password was stored, user password stored as a simple obfuscated way. So if I have got ABCD as password, so they will obfuscate it to A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E. So now your password is BCDE. It's kind of obfuscation. There is, those who are from electrical engineering or others, they would be knowing there's XORing Boolean operator, which do it 2 times, you get back your password. Okay. So they were storing till 2007 in that manner. Think company like Microsoft. Okay, that's why Microsoft got a bad name in all early 2000s with lots of virus or lots of patches, and things are now much better. So people do not look at that. The focus of the engineers has always been, how can I get the functionality? In fact, always it's there. Wherever you go, if you are developing in software, they'll say, okay, is it working? Oh, this is not working. This drop down is not working. Nobody thinks that, oh, how can somebody get into your system? Nowadays, before even software, one line of code is there, people do security threat modeling and analysis. Has it passed threat models? You're simulating. You just have a box. You say, okay, this box, even the box is not prepared, let's do where people can get in, because the specification is made. These are the touch points where external world is intervening here. Like, do you have a demilitarized zone around it, or do you have straight away open to anybody from the world? If it's a military system, let's say, can somebody get in? No, because it's pretty much within them, within their network, not exposed to outside, right? So before even any software is being written today, people do security analysis, security threat modeling, and of course things will go. Despite all that, security threats come. Okay, social engineering, phishing, I talked about earlier. They use the human factor, make it believe that, okay, oh, this is fake email, so and so. Ransomware attacks, encrypting data, demanding ransom. These are the kind of attack vectors. APT, I just mentioned that they go and remain dormant and wake up and start stealing the data for a long time without getting noticed. Insider threats. Okay. Vulnerability primarily because of the legacy system. A company buys another company. Okay. That company, because of the financial gain, they are buying it. Maybe they have some technology, functional technology, they're buying it, but their system doesn't match. What they have to do, if they connect, they cannot keep it 3 years for the other systems to upgrade. That's what happened to AT&T, T-Mobile, all the telecommunications, like recent thing. They are saying, oh, we purchased this company or that company, they have older software, older network, and we have to take it in because functionally we have to integrate. Financially, we need to integrate. Those are the high priority ones. Security is not as much, and that's where the Chinese actors, Chinese hackers, they got inside and tried to find out who US government is snooping, okay, who is spies and all that stuff. So this is mismatch of hardware, software, all that stuff causes the vulnerability more. Supply chain vulnerability, again, similar. SolarWinds is also another company where their vendor had a problem. Recently, I believe similar thing happened where a vendor, so you have a vendor, you don't demand the same level of security from them, but when they integrate, they access your system because they are vendors, they have to do some work with your system. When they access some of it, it could be a bad actor, it could be some disgruntled employee, anybody. It could be their tool is really, they are not using, they are all, let's say, of a different operating system they are using. So through the vendors, supply chain vulnerability comes in because it is over a period of time, things have been built up. You'll be surprised. Companies, huge companies, billion-dollar companies, they are using software which was prepared, which was built 30 years back. IBM, what is that, 460, IBM 60. So those are the mainframe computers. They are working, functionally working. And 20, 30 years back, people wrote Fortran COBOL code and it's still running. And who cared about security those days? It's running. The companies, the motivation, the financial motivation isn't there until they get attacked and they find that the reputation going down, stocks going down, or there is a government policy which is making them accountable and saying that, look, so much of data got leaked, you have to pay $500 million fine. Those are the kind of things making them wake up. But until then, they're saying, okay, chalta hai to chalne do, that kind of stuff. Human factor, the control systems I just talked about, weak passwords, insufficient monitoring, and poor access controls. So I'll just talk about the middle one, insufficient monitoring. Well, let's say I'm admin of one of the systems, administrator, okay? Somebody somehow got access to this as an admin. I don't know. If I don't have the auditing process running all the time, like if they say, oh, at what time admin log in? So that one would go and somebody will look at it. Audit trail will be there. Then audit trail will say, okay, these are the people who are logging into the system. One of them is an admin role, okay? Oh, I'll say I'm the only admin. How can there is another admin? So if I'm not monitoring, I can do. Now let's just think of a system where there's multiple admins because software and the systems, they're not a single one, in which one guy is there. There are multiple this thing, right? Who monitors all this stuff? That's where the AI and machine learning coming. I'm just going there. So monitoring is insufficient, and that's why the attack surface becomes bigger because you are not monitoring. Even though you have secured the thing, you are not monitoring who got in. There's always chance somebody got in, but if you quickly monitor, you can take some measure, shut down the system, isolate the system, right? Those kind of stuff, right? More like COVID. Unless people really monitored, isolated, it would be spreading much bigger. Same thing happens in the systems. They cannot figure out, then from one system to another system to another system, it keeps on going. Ransomware, how does it move from one system to another system? Or even simply unauthorized access goes from one to other. It could be very benign also. It's just a reading. There are some saboteurs who just go and delete your data. It happened to, I think, Saudi Aramco is one of the oil companies. They just went and deleted all the 30 systems, all the data in their 30 systems. Well, I don't know how they survived it, they definitely did survive, but impact would have been much, much higher. So let's go. Risk assessment. What are the risks? So finding out, first of all, identifying the attack surfaces, do the model. Okay, where else? Everybody has to think, if this is the touch point, interaction point, what are the ways somebody can get in? It's just not brainstorming. There are really simulation necessary. Okay, how can I get in? Like I said, teenager, he's trying to just make a connection. Like a genuine guy, you go to a website and Amazon.com and trying to download something. So I'm a genuine user. But this fellow is trying to play, and he's trying to connect to Amazon.com millions of times, because it's a software loop, it's millions of times, right? So if such a thing is there, then somebody has to find out what are the risks of this. Well, the risk is system goes down, but no data loss. So they do model the value, they assign what value in uh, each of the attacks, and when that happens, what is the risk assessment. Actually, there is a in management theory, they have risk assessment as one of the professional activities people do, assess risk. There are financial risk when, let's say, you're stock trading, you're trading your fuel, risk assessment. Security risk assessment is similar sub this thing of the security professionals. Identify critical ones, do the threat modeling, do the vulnerability where the systems are. You do a scanning, conduct penetration tests. It's saying that I'll try to penetrate, authorize, unauthorized, all that stuff, and see where it breaks, where it lets me out. I'll give a simple example. Again, these are all the hacks 20 years old. So let's say you go to a web form and they put your name and search, like such a name exists or not. So in the name, you say Sukanta Nanda. Okay, that's what the name is. And system has everybody. Sukanta Nanda is a user. Sukanta Nanda is there. The hacker will put Sukanta Nanda and write some code. Okay, that's a SQL code. Under that, there's a database, and in the database is saying find user where name equal to Sukanta Nanda. This name equal to Sukanta Nanda, he will put some code which will do a buffer overflow. Basically, internally there's some buffer, it will overflow. The moment there's an overflow, it will dump everybody's name. And now he has got the access to who is the user. That used to be old hack. I mean, people take care of software. So when we write software, everybody learns, every good developer learns how to not write bad, insecure software. Because these are the tricks. The hacker knows, the developer should also know, so that he has to write a manner. Okay. So risk mitigation is basically with the people who are developing it, but those who are, if it happens, how do you take it? How do you how do you look at the potential of impact of each of these and assign higher priority? Let the lot of testers go and test it. So stream of people who are savvy, computer savvy, security savvy, they go and test it. And they test, they find out, okay, here's a vulnerability. The white hat hackers, they do that as a profession. They go and find out. That there is in Unix environment, there is a thing called a logging framework called log4j. Okay, that had a bug. The code has been written 20, 30 years back. People, it's open source. People contribute to that. It's the rock solid, has been working, but there are still areas in which still there is something which is vulnerable. And recently, there is a log4j shell kind of error. It affected 20% of the computer network. Of course, the moment it was detected, people plugged. They find out and they issue a patch. Every system gets that patch and overwrites that particular software. Then now things are okay, right? But just finding itself took 20 years. Finding, I mean, with all the stuff. So it's not possible to make software completely foolproof, secure, right? Whatever. I mean, the main focus is, can I get the functionality to work? Of course, all these things will be added. However, that's where the problem starts. So risk mitigation strategies are, and management is drawn around the software before it is released, while it is in process, and having partners to look at it and finding out where you should spend more money. old network, new network, you should spend more money there, right? So those are the kind of things, assessment. Mitigation strategies, isolation. I said, what operation network, if you just isolate, like all your electricity network, they're controlled by IT systems, you isolate. There should be way to isolate. Even one area you got affected, one particular, like national grid of electricity grid is there in India, right? Sorry, we have state governments, which are the maybe producers at the same time consumers. Can you isolate so that if one area is getting affected, the whole grid doesn't collapse, right? That kind of stuff. And if you have really designed the IT and OT as to be separable, and have a box around each so that you can cleanly shut down one. Okay, maybe people will suffer there, but rest of the country or where the network is, they will not be suffering. That's where segmentation. Patching, I told you, was software patching, software update. Software update has to happen. If you know, all the software on your Windows and everything automatically get downloaded and updated. You don't know it. You just have said, do automatic updates, and that's what the default value is. So new patch, new security vulnerability found out, company issues an update. There is an agent sitting in everybody's computer. It goes and checks. Oh, is there a new update for me? They say yes. Then download it, put it back. So older software gets newer version of it. While it's running, it gets changed, and then software updates plugs that thing. Multi-factor authentication. Uh, Today, probably 70 to 80% of the access, system access, is through user ID and password, right? We have OTPs coming. That's a two-factor authentication. So some password is there, that's factor one, and OTP two. There could be third one. It could be iris, it could be eye scan, it could be a thumb impression, right? A lot of laptops these days come with a thumb scanner, right? So it can tell you. So it's you who say who you are. There is a whole concept of impersonation. So if there are three things, like somebody can steal your phone number, they can go and change your phone number to call to the telecom company, get your phone number changed by saying that, okay, I lost my phone, I made a new phone, can you update it? They'll say, okay, bring your Aadhaar card and all that stuff. They can do. The hackers are calling. So these people are really as smart or smarter than the regular person. So multi-factor authentication will prevent it. If the OTP is preventing it quite a bit of user ID password hacks. Because when you password, you type something, somebody can really capture your password. OTP coming, it's a different device, first of all. Though that's hackable. OTP is hackable, but at least one less that multiple gates, so the hacker cannot go through all of it. Data encryption. Encryption, there has to be several algorithms. Over the period of time, the computer scientists, they have got that MD5, SHA1, SHA256, all of it. And you'll find one paper which says that, okay, this SHA256 algorithm can be broken. Computer can go and either brute force or by intelligent guessing, by all that stuff. There's a counter algorithm which goes and breaks that, right? So if you have no encryption, like Microsoft had in 2007, no encryption, just obfuscation, anybody can do that. Data encryption, when it's going across, how do you see many times HTTP is there, HTTPS is there. S is the secure one. So you go to a site, if you don't see HTTPS, that means he doesn't have a security certificate. The communications is encrypted through a certificate. If it is not HTTPS, there's a possibility somebody can snoop, take your data because you give a password. How does it? Browser doesn't see your password. It takes your user ID and password. Supposed to encrypt it. Okay, some encryption it does, which if it is not a strong encryption, it can be broken. It goes over the network to the authentication server. When it is going there, somebody can take a look at it, take it, de-encrypt it, try to de-encrypt and get your password. Now he has got access, right? So data encryption, good encryption with certificate-based encryption, all those things are necessary. Despite that, hackers are smart enough. They have got the multiple PhDs to go after and do it, because it's all the financial benefit. If they're getting millions of dollars by accessing some data from a telecom company, of course, they will go after. They will hire the best guy in the industry. Okay, so backup disaster recovery plans, that's a mitigation strategy. So something happened, somebody wipes up your this thing. Can you have a backup? And what happens if, how do you recover it back? How do you disaster recovery? There are real plans. How long will you be storing? When it comes, what is the sequence of things? There has to be a plan. There can be chaos. It's a critical infrastructure. There is no electricity for 10 days in Bhubaneswar. Think of how people will be doing. Of course, you'll go back to kerosene lamp because that's the alternative exists. No water. What will you do? A lot of people don't have a well in their backyard. What will you do? So recovery plan will say that how do they recover the system? What is the procedure? Plan is essentially saying, okay, how to recover it back. Okay, if the system is gone bad because somebody goes and wipes up the whole database or all the users, so there is no money can be taken from the people. All user base of a Watco, let's say it's wiped off. How can they get back there unless there is a recovery possibility? Put it in the cloud, not in your desktop, not it under your desk. Okay, similar. Employee training and awareness. This is the key factor, key thing in the mitigation strategy. Most of the companies I know of, have worked, they have an annual training, okay, security training. Whatever I just said, they emphasize, it's basically knowledge, okay. It goes through your head, maybe you don't do it, but passwords, they ensure you don't have a weak password, right? They ensure that your screen gets automatically locked. You think of a company, Wipro, TCS, any of those companies. If one person leaves his desktop and goes to the restroom and comes back, by the time his system is open, a disgruntled employee, somebody who doesn't like that company and wants to leave another, he can go and delete some other stuff. So they make sure the screen get locked in 30 minutes, 30 seconds. If it is not no activity, 30 seconds. Those are the policies, procedure companies do. They train it. They even sometimes forbid employees not to do certain things. Employees cannot change certain things. They are not admin. They cannot change certain things. From the security point of view, downloads and all this stuff, they make sure that it's scanned before even it comes to a mailbox. So straight away it doesn't come through the mail server. It goes to their mail server, which is trying to scan all the stuff before it comes to you. So companies do training, awareness, all those things, make it better. I said the attack surface is minimized, but this one, it's a continuous process. Unless the employees are trained, if they put a password as 1234, obvious. I mean, somebody can guessing 20-digit password is no longer a problem these days. Okay, so let's go. Advanced security measures for critical infrastructure. Zero trust architecture. Like architecture is most important. Before even you build a system, you do an architecture. Software systems I'm talking about. Here, one is a server. I mean, there are multiple servers, multiple components, and there are clients. Even server is a client to another server. Server is a server to another server, because when they communicate, let's say one server is just doing procuring your data, another server is computing, okay, fluid, I mean, all kind of stuff. So they communicate. They ask, okay, what is it? Or how much it is? That how much it is the client is asking, the server has to respond back. So they are client server. So in the architecture, you say we don't trust anyone. So means you are a client, you could be impersonating, you could be a rogue client. You're a server, you could be a rogue server. In fact, it's possible. I can set up a server on my laptop, and that's what the hackers do. They show you a bank website, they send you a link, bank website, ICICI Bank. It looks like, because they copy all the blue color, green color, red color in that, it looks like that. When you use your password, it really is running in their server. That screen, that page, the bank page, ICICI Bank page, is running in their server. Because when you typed ICICI Bank, let's say you made a mistake, ICIC and forgot the I. So there is a URL which goes there. Such things are, I mean, what can ICICI do? They can't do anything. You never went to their site. You went to ICICI only, right? Not an I. Or link came, and link looks like it has got the wording, like, always you have a hyperlink. So the word says HTTPS ::ICICIbank.com, but under the hood it's going to HTTP ICIC or random XYZ.com, right? It goes there. It serves the same page as ICICI is serving. You see, now that server is a rogue server. He's trying to steal your information. Once it has done, it will forward it to ICICI Bank. So you said, oh, fine. He will go to ICICI Bank and on your behalf can log in as well and transfer it. Then after that, you did everything, but he has taken your password. It's possible, right? So no trust architecture. Every client will say, okay, who you are? Tell me. Authenticate, first of all, yourself, even within the network. So that way, it's much more trusted. Forget the outside world which is coming in, of course, comes through many of the, but even within the server network, within the uh, what do you call the uh, zone or enterprise security blanket, servers have to say, don't trust. Of course, there is a lot of identity management tools, software, and all that stuff, servers, where you go and show your who you are. I mean, one server is asking who you are, show me your identity. Somebody would have certified you as a valid user. If you give that, and I can decrypt and get you, basically, do I have the key, same key, which my father and his father and your father and his father has given? This, I mean, just as an analogy. So then I trust you. So the trust establishment also is a big area in security software, and the architecture has to tell that, no, I don't trust anyone, even if within the network, right? Then control systems, all those SCADA, PLC, and operation technology systems, they need to be secured. There has to be best practices and things like that. When the new version coming up, let's put security into that. Even somebody accessing or doing a monitoring something has to log into their system and in a secure way.
ନମସ୍କାର କାଲି ଅଛ ସେଠି
Sorry. Yeah. Threat intelligence sharing. Then the kind of problem which happens to. Sorry. Can somebody
ଫଟୋ ଉଠେଇକି ମତେ ପଠେଇବ ଆଉ
go mute, please?
ତମେ ସେଇଠି ଥିବ ତ
Moderator, could you mute
ଫଟୋ
the
ଦିଟା
person?
ପଠେଇଦବ ଏଇ ଚିହ୍ନା ପରିଚୟ ନାହାନ୍ତି ତ
Sorry, I can't.
ଆଉ ଇଏ ଚାଲିଛି ଆମର
Are you guys able to hear me?
ବିଜୁ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ
Hello.
କାର୍ଡ ଏ ଆୱାର୍ଡଟା ଲଗେଇଦବ ଲାଷ୍ଟ ଡେଟ୍ କେବେ ଥିଲା
Let me see who is talking.
Lal Shukla sir, please mute yourself.
ସାଇନ୍ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ନା ଦି ଜଣ
Professor Lal Bihari Shukla sir, kindly mute sir. Hello.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Yes. Thank you, sir. So, okay, this one we have covered. Yeah, covered. So I said employee training. The password hygiene has to be really good. They change password every 3 months. We feel very irritated. Okay, who wants to change the password? Who want to remember all this stuff? Like again, there are hundreds of passwords. Despite the problem, if it is not implemented, the door is open, right? How do we solve such a problem? There are some password managing tools, like Apple has a password manager, it's source. Google also has a password manager too. There are companies, 1Password and others who have managed your password. You just remember one master password. All your passwords has to be really 36 character long, 26 character long, even say symbol, blah, 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 and use that. So that way it cannot be easily. I mean, the idea is that it's not impossible, but it's not easy. Okay, that's what the happen with that. Intelligence sharing, share with government, peers, agencies. Like in one of the cases, FBI was helping in that pipeline thing in the Eastern Europe, Eastern US, Eastern part of the US. FBI helped them. So FBI, they also have people who are knowledgeable. They are also industry peers, and FBI helped them to not negotiate the ransomware, few millions, a few hundred millions. They reduced it. At the same time, they also try to track, okay, where is it coming? Who created it? They also have investigation tools. You would have you require to share your problems and all these things so that everybody is aware how things, where the vulnerability is, and learning and patching and all that stuff. then one should have the incident response plans. Because of the critical nature, critical infrastructures, things have to be really quick because there is a lot of stuff involved. Nuclear threat, I mean, I hope such things never happen. But if somebody goes there and people cannot isolate and some bad guy really detonates, what's going to happen? The impact is so huge that requires a quick response. So you should have auditing, monitoring, and then you'll be able to respond quickly. Okay. Compliance and regulatory framework. So I said you need to work with the government and other things. However, government also setting some standards. Nowadays, everybody, whoever writes software, you'll be seeing something like ISO, IEC 27001 certified. Okay, so they have done the basic, not basic, maybe to a whatever the protocol says, cyber security, all the threat modeling they have done. They got the certification that okay, they have done enough of due diligence in terms of security. So government has made a framework, not somebody. I mean, it's a not government, academic and other bodies. They have made that ISO standard, which people have to follow, right? Similarly, there are different electric reliability corporation critical protection standard. There are other stuff which is also trying to make people so that they don't let the data easily available. Data privacy. It's not really security, but when I think of it, my data, my Aadhaar number gone, my phone number gone, my thumb impression gone somewhere. That's privacy, private data. Somebody finds out who am I looking at my Facebook postings. Okay, how do I look and all that stuff. This is my privacy data, right? So some of the people expose their privacy. Government in Europe, they have something called a GDPR. So they mandate that the data remains, the private information remains private. It cannot be publicly. Like the telecom companies. In fact, why telecom company? Reliance Jio, if you go there, they ask your phone number, right? What do? They take it and sell it to the marketing guy, Bajaj Finance, and Bajaj Finance makes a call to you. Your privacy information. Security, well, it's not really insecure or secure. It's basically we willingly give that information, and the not so ethical people, industry agents, they sell it like the hackers, the criminals. They're selling in the black market. Similarly, the Reliance Jio is taking my phone number and selling it to. Sorry, I'm not against Reliance Jio. It's everywhere. They take your phone number and date of birth. Even some of them will say date of birth. Why do you need my date of birth? These are privacy information. The European standard GDPR, now India and Europe and India and US and many other places, they are using it. So privacy also lead to some kind of security blocking, right? Security attack blocking, though it's not very straightforward or straight this thing, but it still manages. I mean, implications are different because it's my private information. You take it, you can harm me. So if you cannot take it by rule, by the standard of the government, like European agency, European this thing, they have done it. So that way I am secure. Then India has this DPDP bill, 2022. It also talks about similar data privacy issues. It's not really security related. India has a couple of Information Technology Act in which some information secure stuff is there, but it's not the security we were talking about. It doesn't talk about, it doesn't have the tooth and nail for such kind of bigger critical cyber, infrastructure, critical infrastructure, how to protect them. It doesn't have. It's more around data protection of personal kind of stuff, making the companies don't make money out of it by selling phone number XYZ. But things should evolve when the compliance and regulatory framework. Firstly, somebody is compliant, okay, attack surface has reduced a little bit. Government does all that, homeland security, executive order, and all those things. That makes a little more. As I said, nothing is foolproof, but you are better. What are the emerging technologies and impact on cyber security? Yeah, we hear AI as a buzzword. Okay, everybody talks about AI. Anything which does a little bit of analysis also talks that AI. What's there behind AI or machine learning is that it can detect few things called anomaly detection. Credit card, let's say your credit card, you made a purchase right now here in Bhubaneswar, and then 2 seconds later or 2 minutes later, there is another purchase which is in Jodhpur. Okay, this is an anomaly, because if you did it here, obviously you are physically present, or you are giving it to somebody and you are in Jodhpur. I mean, that possibility exists, but you giving it to somebody means somebody else is utilizing your credit card. So this is the anomaly. Machine learning systems, they try to find out, okay, this is normal things, this is the outlier pattern. Okay, this is the anomaly. They figure out anomaly is admin logging in. So administrator says that, okay, I log in, I haven't gone to office now, 6 o'clock, this is 10 a.m. But how come 3 a.m. there was a login from somebody? So if he gets that alert message to him, that's because the machine learning system can grok the a huge amount of logs which is going on. Everybody logs in, they say, okay, user A, B, C, D logged in. And user E is the admin. They figure it out and they give a message, right? Saying that 3 a.m. somebody logged in. This is an anomaly. They figure it out, right? So this anomaly is simply somebody's trying to log in, log out, log in, log out, like those people are doing. Somebody's trying to break the captcha. So many. So anything which is not normal, and what is normal you can define, because that's what the machine learning, you define, okay, this is set of data is normal, this pattern is normal, this behavior is normal, right? Even employees psychology can be tested. Somebody, when is he coming, is he coming at 10 p.m. and going out at 4 a.m. every day? I mean, his job doesn't really require it. So some pattern you can figure out. That's why the machine learning is coming to saying that, okay, here is an anomaly pattern and do something with it. Not saying that this is going to be a security threat, but at least it's alerting, right? AI, AI, there are two kinds of AI. One is the generative AI, which is language based. All the Chat GPT, Perplexity, Gemini, all those things where you can go and, like, you have heard of those things, right? They deal very well with the language domain. Machine learning is basically it's a models, statistical models, or deep learning, which is a neural network models. Those models try to find all those data. They process a huge amount of data and tell you what's going to happen, predictive, or what is the anomaly. Whereas, or even something auto detection, automatic threat detection. The generative AI, like the language domain, it can be used to test. So somebody giving a phishing email, right? So suspicious email. How can they generate such kind of things? So this is called synthetic data. So they prepare the mail which looks suspicious. How many people are biting? They say they want to test it. So for testing purpose, they produce all those things. They can prepare where to look at for testing purpose, because they have some reasoning ability, though not full, but in the language domain, they can prepare such things. So generative AI can be used for.
It's a pleasure.
Great honor for us.
So,
Satish Patil,
Satish Patil. Yes, yes.
Venkatesh Palaseni,
Okay, thank you, sir.
You sit there.
Arun Kumar
Blockchain. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Krishna,
Am I audible?
I got.
and my wife Smita. We have met
Moderator,
before. We have
am
come
I
to our
audible?
place when I was lecturing
Yes,
in
yes.
Bachelor of Flats with
Definitely.
Barve and all that. Yeah. Barve का
Okay.
तबीयत बहुत खराब है.
So
हाँ, because I think he's not well. His daughter
use
wrote
blockchain
to me
for
saying that,
secure
we
transactions.
are looking good on a
Blockchain is a
day-to-day
technology.
basis. I
Please.
जाऊंगा. I'm going to Nashik to see him. आइए.
Actually, there is a
हाँ जी, please.
webinar going on.
हाँ, हाँ, please.
I will take about five minutes.
Okay, so blockchain is a technology where every transaction stores the information who did it. Basically, it's a trail of things. Like, for example, selling something. I sold you a mug. Mug has my name in that. I sold you. You sold it to somebody. Your name is there. So somebody can trace back and find out where it came from, who did it, and all that stuff. So for secure transactions, like supply chain, right? Supply chain people, I mean, people are trying to use blockchain technology for many other stuff. I mean, that's not really security, but adulteration is probably, people are trying to use blockchain for that purpose. Things are not getting adulterated. But the IT systems, the communication which is happening, smart grid applications, there the blockchain technology can be there in the message going from one place to another place, email going from place to place, or any such message which is going, who did it, where did it originate can be traced. Okay, so that's one way. These are all new technologies. Internet of things, they are trying to build in security, securely connecting the devices. Okay, because I said operation technology primarily is using the processors and um, even IoTs are being part of it today. Drone technology being used. IoTs are there who are looking at it. Image is there. Somebody can change the image. If the image is changed, your result prediction is different, right? For example, a drone is taking an image. It's trying to find out is there anything which is not like from enemy side, something has been dropped here or something. Then if the image can be changed, somebody, man in the middle, they go and change the image. Okay, then some result is different, prediction is different, right? So for such a thing, they are trying to build in security into the device itself. How does it? Nobody can change while they are communicating. Can they encrypt the whole thing? They make into pixels. Today, if I send a file from here somewhere to somewhere, it's going as bits and bytes and not encrypted at all. I'm sending a file attached. It's not encrypted at all, right? So this IoT devices, which are critical nature, associated with critical networks, security is getting built into it. It's the security layer. I mean, like the 7 layers of the networking. Similarly, one of the layer trying to build in is the security layer. Then cryptography and all other things. I just mentioned why AI ML, because huge amount of data, it requires faster, accurate response, quick response, processing it. Well, this is nothing new. Machine learning or even big data processing, they can crunch a lot of data. However, finding patterns in that is not as easy. Nobody has told us that admin logging at 3 a.m. is not the right thing. But admin might have logged in. Is there any other pattern? Any other pattern? So basically, pattern matching, finding out, that's where AI ML is coming. Okay, and we talked about all this stuff. Challenges, complexity, because today vast interconnected systems, they have different kind of security needs. There are dependencies. So if one is the weak, everything else becomes weak. Shortage of skilled cybersecurity personnel. Okay, how many people study cybersecurity as a course, as a career? This thing as a stream. Rarely people go to industry, and somebody is lucky. Okay, he gets into the security team. He learns it there. I mean, that's what mostly. I'm sure nowadays people are. I mean, the universities are providing courses. I'm not sure your university provides something called cybersecurity or not, but probably computer science only, which is a generic computer science, how to do cybersecurity is part of the same thing. But the training is different. The training is not just programming. Training is that more like a hacker, more like a what do you call it, jasus, how to figure out where the things are, how things can broke, right? So training all those things is more important. And since there is a shortage of that, it's basically vulnerability has not gone down. Operational continuity with security. As I told you, one company purchases another company. They want to continue the operation because finance, their CFO has to show that the company is making money by buying this thing. They didn't lose money and all that stuff. So they give security a lower priority, and those are the challenges. And AT&T, like last week when all their CEOs met the president, they just said that yes, we should do, we haven't done, but they didn't explain why they haven't done. They just said that, yeah, we purchased this company and that has a security vulnerability, and that is a Chinese, this thing was sitting there for maybe last 2 years, and it just tried to spread. So it's what's more priority is the financial part, and that's where things go. Adversarial sophistication. Of course, as I said, they are also hiring PhDs who are well skilled. Okay. Best practices. Have a holistic approach. So do not think building software or building the firmware or building any part of the thing rather than the integrated system to be secure. Okay, every component should be secure. Like I just said, every server should not trust any other client unless it is really authenticated. They show a certificate. Yes, you are my friend. I know you. I can decode your certificate, so decrypt your certificate. So you are welcome to ask me a question, or I can give you data. Then at the broader or the higher level, at the system level, the holistic approach has to be secure everything, wherever the external people can come in. How did uh, Israeli and US people get into Iranian nuclear power plant? Somewhere they individually, I'm pretty sure things would have been secure, but holistically it wasn't. There's some communication, something they would get through. And I said the weakest chain is the social engineering. Ask somebody, send somebody, somebody's spouse sends a mail. Okay, you'll believe it. It came from your spouse, and then when you open, something gets installed, right? So how can they make a holistic approach? For example, if something is coming outside your company, well, all will be given to the junk and will be tested, and you'll be informed. In a isolated network you can go. I mean, they can do that. All the email which is coming to you, only the valid company wide email that goes to one let's say platform. Everything else goes to another platform. When you do that, if something happens, okay, that's isolated. Okay, damage is less. They can do that. So the basically resilience have to built into the whole system, holistic approach. Government, private sector, academic, all should share knowledge. Well, they do. However, it's not that formal anymore. People publish, the white hat hackers, they publish. And when they publish, they ask for money also. Not that demanding, but they say we are having employees who have to be paid. And maybe we saved you this much, so you pay. So they are sharing. If somewhere they find by sharing they're not getting enough, they may not also. It's all matter of ethics, business, not ethics. It's matter of business, right? With a ethical mindset, but not necessarily always ethical, right? So collaboration necessary and continuous improvement, testing, auditing, adapting, all that stuff. Okay, so I'll just recap. 608. Okay, we're kind of not too far. So what do we talk? We talked about types of cyber attacks and what is their impact, how big, how scaling that when it is on the critical infrastructure, because if large sections of the population could get affected. Risk mitigation strategies and what are the best practices. If you have a strategy in place, if you try to implement some of it which is mandatorily implementable, and you train people and other stuff, certainly you are reducing the attack surface. And proactive multi-layered strategy. So as I said, isolation. So can you isolate the whole thing? Can you isolate some part quickly? And can you have multiple layers so that people don't get through? Typically companies, they put some network, like when I call google.com, it's not going into Google network. It is outside or in the demilitarized zone, they call it, so that it's not in that one. Then that server or those set of servers which are handling google.com, there are millions of those coming every second, right? Because people are searching, and when they're searching, it doesn't go to Google. Otherwise, somewhere somebody will get there. So they just keep it totally isolated, and from there they took it, and but the data is inside, right? How do they search? The things are encoded and stored. They have to figure it out. How do they do? They keep it outside so that they can immediately isolate if necessary. They can figure out DDoS attack. I mean, a very simple strategy. You see, from IP, some particular IP attack, sorry, the request is coming so frequently. You just block that IP. There are mechanisms you block that IP, like your phone. Some spam caller is coming, you blocking your phone. Exactly similarly, you can block that IP, but you need to detect it, right? So very simple mechanism to detect DDoS. But if it is coming from hundreds of places, and because the cloud is there, I can buy Amazon server all over the place, maybe 500, 700, if I have money, if I have the interest to really go after you, if I am the competitor who wants to down the company, certainly I can spend that a bunch of money. So I can orchestrate it from coming from all the places. But again, there are algorithms which can go and prevent it. Final thoughts. It requires continuous vigilance. That's the key word, and adaptation. So you keep changing. You change. I mean, certain things are happening. Patch. A lot of companies. I mean, you'll be surprised. They are still in Windows XP. Windows XP came what, like 15 years back or so. That was released in. They don't want to go to newer versions. It costs them money. They say it's working. Why should I go? You see, right? So if XP has some cyber like vulnerability and the patches do not, because company has to spend money, Microsoft or any company, in fact, in that case, they need to make money. They cannot, Apple or let's say your Samsung, do they support the phone which were there 10 years back, 15 years back? They don't. If they support that phone, their new phone won't sell. If it doesn't sell, they won't make money, right? So they don't support. But if you say that, oh, my phone is working, why should I upgrade it to newer version? Oh, it's slow. Okay, that's fine. I mean, similarly, people don't upgrade their systems. Enterprises, I'm not talking individuals, enterprises don't do. If they don't do, they are the target. And if they are a vendor to another company, even if that company has a lot of security stuff, measures and all that stuff, it's possible from the vendor, the the hackers, the bad guys can slowly get access to the system. All right, so that's all I have to say. It's a lot of talk, a lot of stuff, but I didn't go technical. I could have, but I know general audience. So now it's open for you. Any questions I can answer.
Kindly unmute yourself and ask question if the audience have any questions. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sanat, sir, please. Unmute yourself, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious to know how did the Israelis were able to, actually I'm interested in the, actually exactly what they did, mechanism. How were they able to fire 5,000 pages at the same time? Pagers, you know, in Lebanon, this fellow is sitting in Israel and they are in Lebanon. I don't think any Bluetooth can go that distance. So how were they able to set fire to pages, 5,000 pages at the same time? Could you give the mechanism how they did it?
Honestly, I can just guess it. I don't know it, and all the theories I have read, I can just tell you, okay, these are all guessworks. They haven't really expressed how they did it. So the technology in pagers is again 20, 25 years, 30 years old, and messages which goes, what protocol they use. But the messages do go to them, right? It's not Wi-Fi, it's not Bluetooth. Certainly, Bluetooth wasn't there, or maybe Bluetooth 1.0 maybe may not be there. Bluetooth was never, I'm pretty sure, wasn't used there. So it's, how does the message go from one place to other place? Between the pagers, right, pager somebody is sending. Some of those mechanisms they would have managed to send it through. That's what I will guess. Of course, they have the trigger there. So it's basically if the message goes and set the trigger, whatever the active action, follow-up action will be happen. You are interested in the communication part of it. So
No,
pagers.
I'm interested in the trigger. I'm able to understand the communication more or less. But how can you blast a battery remotely? That's what I'm asking. How can you set fire to a battery remotely?
Yeah, this is what I have read. So they have some detonator inside that because they manufactured it, or they manage the manufacturer to add it to the battery. If the battery gets little higher temperature, it is going to detonate the detonator. So temperature is the mechanism through which that becomes that. So how does the battery gets hot? Okay, so something like when we use a lot of let's say video, our phone gets hot, right? So temperature goes. So some processing they would be doing. Again, I'm really not position to know what technology they use, how do they do. This is all I can guess is that it's in the media that okay, they use detonator, they manage all those 5,000 pages to go shipment while shipment, and they will use some technology which is same messaging technology which processes there. There is a processor there, right? There will be microprocessor which is processing your message, simply coming bit and byte and processing. Could they tamper the firmware? They could have. If they tamper the firmware, then they can say when the trigger, for example, let's say a sequence of 1313101010 comes, then you detonate, or let's say do something. I mean, if I'm an electrical engineer, I can change the firmware. If you can change the firmware to do some special processing, they could have done it. So special processing which says that okay, go in the loop typically, or do something which will raise the temperature of the battery, and the battery temperature goes up, and here is a chemical exports. And these are all guessworks, certainly not the right thing or whatever they would have done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's a kind of man in the middle attack. There's the manufacturer, there is a consumer.
Yes.
So they took it and tried to modify it. In software, exactly that happens. Similar thing happens.
Even that Stuxnet also is like that. Like Israelis and the Americans joined together and attacked Iranian nuclear plant. I'm a nuclear engineer in India.
Correct.
So we are worried about it. There was an news of attack on Kudankulam reactor. But in our reactor systems, the reactor controls have got an air gap with any internet connectivity we are having for our database system, that is our HR system. HR systems have got that. So this has got. So we were telling them that internet connectivity cannot affect our reactor controls. This is what we are saying. And in fact, I think our EVM people are also saying the same thing, that
Exactly.
EVM is not connected to the internet. But I thought you said somewhere, even if you're not connected to the internet, you can attack. That's what I was not quite sure. Did you?
Yes. Even if it's not connected to the internet is one way of getting attacked. But let's say so many other ways. The disgruntled employee. Okay, how can you make sure? So this admin insider. He does something, right? The bad actor is not outside; it's just inside. That's possible. Then
Because
there must be.
Elon Musk went about saying that all EVMs can be cracked. See, that's what he said.
Okay.
But from India, they were saying, no, it's not possible with our EVM. Because our EVMs have got individual, they're not connected to the internet at all, and then they got individual ROMs, whatever it is, and individually programmed. So it is not, the operating system is not common. That's what they were trying to say, I think.
Right.
So I don't know whether Elon Musk changed his opinion.
No, he changed it. Of course, he didn't change. He said, if India can count all the votes in one day for 6 or 40 million people, why can't California do?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Any other question, or we'll wind it up? Okay.
Abhishek Mahanti. Yes.
Sir, my question is that you say we know that the one way of protecting our data is through going onto the cloud, and this is cheaper in contrast to our on-premises. You said that, sir. So my question is that whenever the encryption works in the cloud, so it encrypts the data and stores it. But whenever we require it, it decrypts the data. But the decryption of the data, the cloud company also observes that. Then how can we protect that part, sir?
What they observe, they see that the data is transmitted and nobody is snooping in the middle. That's they're observing. They're not observing your data, even though it's possible. What Meta, the Facebook guys, they say that WhatsApp communication is encrypted. So between you and the receiver, nobody can see what is there. This is encryption. Encryption is basically certificate-based encryption, higher level and all that stuff. Similarly, going to the cloud and coming to your on-premise, it's encrypted. Okay, they are watching what they are watching, that the data is flowing, not what the content of the data. And they are watching that, okay, see, even if the encrypted data given to anybody, they can't decrypt it. If they can't decrypt it, then it's of no use to them. So people can get that. They can wiretap. Wiretapping is what like they do. They can wiretap. They cannot break it because you encrypt with a public and private part of the certificate. Typical stuff, like a certificate has two parts, public part and private part. So you sign with your private part. Those who has public part, they can decrypt. They see, okay, it came from you. And because of the root authority of the certificate, they can figure out that, okay, it's really authentic. So to answer your question, yeah, they do observe the data, but not the content of the data. They do observe the data that it flows and there is no in between people snooping, but anybody can take this data. Doesn't matter. Nobody is trying to tamper, essentially, change the data.
Sir, is there a possibility that the data that where the encryption and decryption process is going on, is there a possibility that the cloud service provider can observe or collect the data and do their works on the basis of it? Is there any possibility?
Possibility exists. How do you if you look at your Gmail, okay, in the Gmail, whatever you are typing, you say, okay, maybe you're sending to a friend that I want to purchase a shirt, okay. How do you get an advertisement about a shirt little later? Tell me. Google is not reading. Google is trying to find out some information based on which they are giving to a shirt manufacturer or seller that, okay, this fellow may be interested in a new shirt. I mean, for shirt, you put anything else. So they are looking at your data, not that Google stores anything. It's a system which is going and pulling out interest, the marketing interest, like scoring. They are giving a score. They look at your data, they look at your email. Similarly, your data may be looked at, but cloud companies typically won't do. But cloud, your Gmail is in the cloud, your Google Docs are in the cloud. So they may be looking. Officially, they say we don't use this data, we don't look at the privacy part of the data or any such thing. But there are systems which could be looking, and even if they're not looking at it, like I sent an email to you, so they know that who sent to whom. Right? So they establish a relationship. Okay, this person is sending 20 emails, and from the external information, they augment the data, saying that this data goes to people who are merchants. I mean, even if they're not snooping on your data, they can collect a lot of metadata, which they use. So your data going and coming back, let's say it's going to a database. It's not just a file. They know, okay, you're storing data. They may say that some information about your data, if it is, everything is not impossible, right? Metadata is visible. So they could be using the metadata, but again, I'm not the authority. I can just guess on some part of it.
Sir, ma'am, I have just one other question.
Sure.
Sir, this question is related to the MITM attacks. Sir, let's say that I am being attacked through an MITM. I'm a victim of an MITM attack. How do I know that I am being the victim of the MITM attack, and what are the best practices to make sure? Because sir, in the data link layer and the physical layer, if any trusted user become a bad actor, that will be very difficult to identify the part that it is he or she is that the actor is listening on me. My messages are traveling through the network, so it will be very difficult to identify. Sir, what are the steps that to identify and practices to stop these MITM attacks?
Okay, so man in the middle attack, there are two things possible, the damage. One is that they just listen and use that information. Okay, so let's say you're sending some very crucial information or very important information which has some financial value. They read it and use it. So they don't do any changes. That's a read part of it. They can go and tamper and send a different information. You send that, okay, send me 100 rupees. They change that to send me 100,000 rupees. Okay, they tamper it. The tampering part is preventable. Simple checksum. I mean, though that's not the one. Do a simple checksum on the data. I mean, that's a very rudimentary stuff, but at least you can find out the checksum has been tampered. Okay, they can rearrange that number computer so that the checksum is matched. I'm just giving an example. There are several algorithms in which the tampering can be detected. Okay. Now the listening part, if it is encrypted, whatever layer it is, I'm just saying application layer or any layer, the data is encrypted and encrypted with a private key. Only those who have a public key, they can decrypt. So somebody listening, okay, what can he do with that data? He can listen, he can take the data, but it's all encrypted. So encryption is a must. If you are sending same plain data, problem.
Thank you, sir. I think we are running short of time. And further questions will be taking over the email, sir. And I will post it to you, sir. And the other participants will definitely, those who are having questions, they can drop and I'll communicate to the professor.
Sure, I appreciate it.
So with this, I
So
would
my
like
email is
to...
there. Yeah, my email is
Yes,
there.
sir.
If anybody
Yes,
wants
sir.
to have
Yes.
any other question,
Yes.
please.
Yes, yes.
No,
Thank you.
Mr. Nando, actually, we have done a great favor. For example, for this excellent lecture, which has created so much of, enthusiasm among the participants. Please don't think that actually this, that you are not from the academy. That is not the point. Today, actually, our AICT and UGC, they have now prescribed that up to 20% of the faculty should be from practice, from the industry. And in fact, you are, for the first time, actually, as a professional, you have given this lecture, and we will be having more and more such things. So it was really
Thank you, sir.
excellent, and I must really thank you for this. Now, I will request Madam Renu Sharma to propose a vote of thanks. And before that, what I will say that now I understand that you are going to US, and by the time you come, we will send you a small memento from our side. Okay.
Right.
And we have your permission actually to publish it. And if you want to really expand it, because so many things actually you have told in your biodata as well as this one, the abstract, you can do so that the expanded form also will be able to accommodate. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Chairman and Chapter, Professor Damodar Acharya, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shiksha Anusandhan University, Professor P.K. Nanda sir, esteemed distinguished lecture by Sri Shukant Nanda sir, esteemed fellow INAE members, distinguished faculty members and their students. It is my distinct honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of INAE Bhubaneswar chapter in collaboration with Shiksha Anusandhan University, CSR MMT Bhubaneswar, IIT Bhubaneswar, NISER Bhubaneswar and IEEE Bhubaneswar subsection for the 47th INAE Distinguished Lecture. On the outset, I would like to express our profound gratitude to Sri Shukant Nandaji for his lucid presentation on cybersecurity attack and the risk mitigation strategy for critical infrastructure. I extend my sincere gratitude to you, sir, and all the guests, those who are present over here, and engaging our students with questions and answers. And definitely, you had given an insightful presentation so that our students are encouraged to ask questions, sir. Thank you so much. I look forward for more collaborative initiative in future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And good night to all of you.
That's fine. Thank you.